So to get underway with the children's individual final here in the Turtle Creek Casino International Ring as we continue action with the North American Youth Jumping Championships. See 15 riders in the first round, and the course is numbered 1 through 12, 15 efforts in total with a time allowed of 71 seconds. And granted, our course designer in the Turtle Creek Casino International Ring this week, our judging panel being headed by President Elena Kutane, also with members Gabby Toysher, John Rush, Amelia Gomez, and Andrea Herschel, and Diana Ficini. Input data handling our timing responsibilities this week, and AJ Holmes, paddock master here at the International. First to show in the first round of the children's individual final.
Well, welcome back to Traverse City and happy Saturday. Final day for the children's and pre-junior sections of the Gotham North FEI North American Jumping Youth Championships presented by USHJA. We're kicking things off this morning with the children's individual final. So these riders have worked really hard to make it into the top 15 of the section here at the North American Youth Championships. And kicking things off in this individual final is young rider Evan Werner. She rides CC Contador DWB. And alongside me, Allie Wolf. Allie, did you get a chance to kind of pick this course apart at all?
Yeah, I did. You know, it's definitely a little bit bigger than you saw in the team competition. And now, you know, the team competition, you know, that pressure's off a little bit. But again, this is riding as an individual. You're riding possibly for a podium finish, hopefully for a gold medal. So, you know, especially for right now, you're just riding for that second round. So there's definitely a lot of pressure on this final day. You know, the horses might be a little bit tired. The riders might be a little tired. So, and this is, again, the biggest jumps we'll see for this division. So the course starts off really nice, you know, a little bit of a galloping 1 to 2, rolling back to a really tight rollback to the Just World vertical, about 6 strides to 4AB, and then a very short 5 strides to that Liverpool Oxer that we've seen having issues sometimes. You'll take a left-hand turn, catch that 4 strides to that skinny that we also saw having some issues in some of those team competitions, followed by 6 or 7 strides to that pinstripe Oxer, and then you just saw her finish down the triple combination. 6 strides easy to that brown Oxer, and then you're going to roll back, left-hand roll back to probably a bending 7, and she just finished a beautiful round.
Really nicely done for the first one out of the gate there. Evan was on the podium for the children's just the other day.
Yeah, looks like she took a clear round, so she'll just stay on those faults, which is fantastic, and hopefully that will be enough to get her into that second round.
Let's move next to Cecilia Chatterjee. She rides Quintano Fortuna for Oakland Adventures. And this pair jumped a beautiful clear on day 1. This is just an 8-year-old horse, so we'll see how I think he came out on day 2 and just felt a little tired. That was a lot of jumping. They had to jump 2 rounds in the team competition. 2 more rounds today, though, so we'll see if a day off suited this horse well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, everybody gets a day off after their team competition before the finals. Some horses recover really quick, maybe. Some horses, maybe not so much. Other horses, you know, come in here having already seen these jumps, maybe a little bored with them at this point. Maybe those spookier horses or those hotter horses might get a little bit more comfortable. So it's really dependent on the horse and dependent on the rider. Jumps down that really short 5 there, has that front rail. And I think, I mean, you know, that has always been a bit of an issue for the horses, just in terms of looking at that pole. It's very hard to discern the front rail for the back rail. She also took down that skinny. Again, those 2 fences have been proving very difficult to jump over these past few days.
And while these jumps, I mean, obviously are not small out there, I think maximum height of 125. You know, you think of the children's division here in the United States as meter 10, meter 15, but a lot of these riders do have experience up through the low junior level. So I would say most of them have already tackled courses of this height.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, you add that second element of, you know, riding for your team, for your zone, and then also riding for a podium finish or a medal possibly. So that just adds a completely different aspect. Like I said, this sport is so mental. You know, I think a lot of people forget about that aspect, and that's a really important consideration.
Well, so far we have a clear and a 12 recorded over this first course. Nick Granite designing the courses here this week and doing a fabulous job of it. Each of his courses have provided unique challenges, using a lot of different materials and some that we really haven't seen here in the jumper ring.
Yeah, and that's a fun part. You know, you see all these materials getting used in different aspects, different variations. You know, yesterday we saw that Starry Night as a vertical with a Liverpool underneath it. Today we see it as an Oxer with a Liverpool underneath it. Definitely in a different part of the ring. And again, placement of these fences in different aspects of the ring really, really play into how these horses see it, they jump it. You know, Nick's also been using through any combination and any triple a lot of those colored planks right underneath on the bottom rail of those triples and doubles. That's really kind of used to distract the horse and make the horse kind of look down at that and forget about that top rail. So that's just something we've been noticing a little bit.
Well, Colin Sweetnam joins us next. He has been riding individually this week as an alternate for Zone 4, and he's aboard 17-year-old Cobalt for Sweet Oak Farm. He had a fabulous day on team day, came out and jumped double clear, of course not recording a score for a team. However, for himself, that put him right up there in the hunt. It was a really good day for the Sweetnam family as a whole. Not a single rail for either of the Sweetnams showing in at this event. Olivia recording a double clear in the junior division.
Yeah, exactly. Colin maybe didn't come out the first day or had the best first day or the one that he was expecting, but he really pulled it together for the team event. And that just goes to show, you know, not all is won or lost on that first day. You keep putting in those smooth, consistent rounds, especially during those team competitions, and you'll steadily find yourself climbing up those ranks. This is the first time we've seen, you know, okay, the third rider, but first time we've seen that brown Oxer come down. That is a short left-hand turn, and it's a very square Oxer coming off a short corner. This will get very steady in the 6. Gets it done. And then they do want to think a little bit about that time allowed. We haven't really seen it be a factor yet. Just seems like a miscommunication. Maybe the horse not sure which jump it was supposed to be jumping, turning back to that vertical. And again, right on the back side of that vertical is that open water. It's also on the back side of the skinny, which is to the right of it. That could also play another factor. You know, the horses look through the poles. They see that water, that blue, or the logs and all the bushes surrounding it, and they could get distracted.
Yeah, a lot of these horses, this one in particular has some 4-star experience, so definitely familiar with jumping a water, and even though it's not going to be a task asked of them here at this level, they might just be a little worried about it. So on to Jordan Rich, carries a score of 8 forward with Gina Collada, ride for Hazelbrook Farm. And actually last year, this horse was the Zone 1 Horse of the Year in the High Children's Jumpers. So it was brought her from the meter up to the meter 20 this past year.
Gets a light rub on fence 1.
And this is a rider actually that's been focused on the jumpers for pretty much her whole riding career. She stepped right into the jumpers when she started riding, to the pony jumpers, multiple champion and reserve champion honors at the lower levels with that pony. And then started riding this horse. So moving up the ranks very quickly, stepping up into the meter 20, meter 25 division now.
Yeah, that turn is very tight, and they're not meeting it quite sometimes as much as they would like, but she got away with that 4 to the 6.
This is another rider that put in a double clear on team day. Just the 8 to carry forward from the first individual qualifier.
And the children's event, you'll see, has a little bit of a different format than the rest of the pre-juniors, juniors, and young riders. The children's only count their scores based on faults. They have none of those multipliers.
And another clear. So keeps herself on 8 there. And as the rest of this order goes on, I think that's a really good spot to be in. You'll see the farther we get down, we have some really low scores. Quite a few on 4. We have 4 riders on a total of 0. But you're not really sure exactly what could change. So wanting to hold on to the best possible score that she can. So Layla Murad up next, Alphonsine Mancias, the ride for Leaden Ridge Farm LLC. And I believe a member of the gold medal winning team back on Friday, or Thursday rather.
Yeah, so she should be feeling pretty good about that. You know, but again, you take your team hat off. Now you're riding as an individual, obviously still representing your zone, and Zone 4 obviously has a very strong presence here. They have a lot of riders that they sent, which is fantastic. I know they had a few reserves, which is great. Just rolls off that front rail of number 3. Again, it's a very short turn. Nick has kind of put some of these oxers and verticals, and again, the front rail of that Starry Night oxer. He's put a lot of these verticals and oxers really short off the turn. So that's a little bit difficult trying to turn that horse, get it balanced, and get it looking into the fence that you want it to go. And that's just proving a little bit difficult out here today.
Yeah, the course designer really opted for a lot of careful material here today. A lot of skinny fences. A lot of, maybe not the brightest poles that we have here.
Yeah, and I think he's, you know, using a lot of the ring itself, the placement of the fences, and the distances also. And again, like you said, the material is just so light. You can breathe on some of those, especially the skinny, and it comes down.
So Layla with a score of 8 there, so doubles the score that she came in on. But it's important not to get discouraged because she will still have another round to jump. Isabella Smith also took a podium placing on team day. She returns aboard Quinca. First of our 4 fault riders, there are 5 of those before we get into those on time faults and on 0. So she could move right up. If she can get a double clear here today, she would put herself in the running for a medal. So coming in just 6th in the order, but that just shows how close some of these scores are to one another.
Yeah, we might actually see a jump off, which would be fun. Again, you know, these scores differ from any of the other divisions you might see later on. So the scores basically reflect the faults themselves with no coefficients multiplied. So that is a stronger possibility for a jump off, like we did see in the team competition. It's a very short 5, but she gets it done. Gives herself enough room around the corner for her horse to see the fence. It's quite deep to it, but gets over.
Really reacted well there through that line. Moved away from that fence she was a little tight at.
This is a very forward-thinking horse, so, you know, I think she has to just think about always keeping it contained. She's really sitting back, having to fight to hold that easy 6. And rolling back to the last line, still on the clear. Just picks up a few time faults. Time allowed is 71, so she picks up five unfortunate penalties on just the clock.
Yeah, that's too bad because, you know, time faults can be a tricky territory. If she had just had 3 time faults, she would have been kind of in a better position than those that had 2 rails, but unfortunately she's just above those that have 2 rails.
Yeah, they changed that rule a little bit earlier. It was 1 penalty for every 4 seconds. Now they changed it back to equaling 1 penalty for 1 second. So that does now play a bigger factor.
Yeah, each time fault is, or each second elapsed is just a little more costly there for these riders. You have to really be aware of the time. Alexa Curry up next with C Music Z for GA Stables. And another Zone 4 rider that took that gold medal, just sitting on the 1 rail down from the first round of the team competition.
Yeah, so you want to think about that time allowed basically 1 to 2, and then around some of those longer corners. But then, like we said, he's building really short turns. Some of those fences come really quick off that turn, so you don't want to rush the turn. Find the spot that you can kind of make up that time on the horse that you know. So that really short 5 gets it done.
This course really includes a lot of related distances. I don't know that we've seen quite this many on some of the courses that Nick has built over the past couple of days. There are a few kind of tighter rollback turns, some longer approaches.
Exactly,
So this one,
yep.
really have to be aware of your horse's stride length and, like you said, make the plan that best suits your horse.
Really holding back in that 6 strides there. Now she has to think a little bit about the time allowed around this corner. This is a quicker moving horse, but she did opt for the bending 7 to that pinstripe red oxer.
Looks like she'll make it there in time. That's a clear round there for Alexa. That keeps her holding that top spot on just the 4, the only one to maintain that so far. And 3 more to go on 4.
This course is definitely proving difficult enough. You know, we've seen a few rails come in a few different spots. And, you know, as we get further down the list, I would imagine there'd be a little bit more pressure on those riders, knowing that they have to maintain that clear round and do the best they can to stay up in those top possible podium rankings.
Brings us to Zone 8 rider Haley Honegger and Wild Hild, owned by Alexia Honegger. And this is one I think has a lot of natural foot speed. Really impressive rider too. I believe she's only 12 years old. Already team gold medalist at the Zone Championships and team bronze at Pony Jumper Finals. So used to this championship format, this of course being the biggest stage that she's been on. But she's already moved up to the meter 30. So I think the fence height should be well within reach for this pair.
You can really hear her using her voice. Again, just like you said, you know, this is a very quick horse. You know, so she's not having to worry so much about that time allowed, just really kind of keeping the horse maintained, packaged. Opts for the bending 6 to that pinstripe oxer.
You can see her thinking about that time allowed. She's pretty efficient on her turns.
Using a lot of voice through that triple combination gets it done. I think that would be the first time we saw 5 strides there.
See if she stays out wide for 7. Oh, there goes the 6.
Whether or not she meant to do it, but got away with it. Big pats.
Oh, I would be pretty excited to see that pair come forth in a jump off. So if we end up on a tie on 4, that would be the case. We have 2 now on 4. However, we do still have some coming on a single time fault and some completely clear scores. So if any of those remain clear through the end of competition, then Haley will not be in contention for a jump off, unless it's a jump off for the, I guess, silver and bronze medals. So we'll just see how the rest of this class shakes off. She'll have another round to jump as well. It's about halfway through the order. Amelia Burnside up next for Zone 2. Casper Van Het Lilahoff. Another on 4. So all of these riders just in a very comfortable position. Of course, hoping to jump double clear here today and increase their chances of finishing on that podium.
Yeah, and again, all these riders actually will be invited to come back for that second round if they so choose to. And maybe, you know, a horse like this, you're going to have to think a little bit more about that time allowed than some of those previous quicker ones. Jumps down the easy 6. Nice 1. It's going to get steady in that 5. Gets it done. You don't want to rush this turn. You just want to kind of catch it smoothly out of stride. She jumped that nice. Moved up a little bit for the 4. And continued down to the 6. Now she's going to want to think a little bit about that time allowed, rolling back to this triple combination.
Oh, that's too bad. Just didn't quite meet that on the stride that was needed for the triple combination. I think the horse knew it before he took off.
Yeah, that was a shame. I think maybe she was opting for that deeper stride, and just, you know, the horse was just very uncomfortable from taking off from that position.
Still a little on the tight side, but covers the distance. It's a horse that has won 2- and 3-star Grand Prix, so very capable of handling the height here. But I think also with that comes a little bit of experience. He kind of recognized that maybe that wasn't the best spot to leave the ground from into a triple combination. But again, good learning opportunity for that pair together, still getting to know each other, and certainly will be tackling much bigger courses in the future.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you see some of these horses that have been there, done that, but they definitely need a rider still to tell them, you know, to help them out, tell them exactly where they want to leave from. It definitely consists of a partnership. You have to build up that partnership, learn what your horse likes, doesn't like, and build up that trust between each other.
Zone 10 rider Lauren Padilla, she was the winner in the first individual qualifier, fastest time, which meant a clear round. However, in this format, it actually turned into just an equal score with all of those on 4. She ended up having 1 rail down in the team competition. So unlike some of the later divisions, it was not a faults converted. So she just carried forward the 0 from day 1, which helped her. She also got a 0 in round 2 of the team competition. So sitting on the 4.
Nice smooth ride from 1 to 2. Keeping her turn a little bit tighty. Marching down that 6 to that 1 stride. And really steady 5. Gets it done. We've seen a few issues here at this next Oxer. Gets a little bit deep, gets away with it. And continues up in the 6. Now we have to think a little bit of about that time allowed.
Little quiet into that triple combination.
And gets that nice 6 done afterward. That 6 turns into a very steady 6 coming downhill towards the in gate.
Looks like she might just run a little close on the time.
Oh, takes the last with her as well.
So a total of 6 there makes her score 10. So with the fact that we're now into only clean slates and time fault territory, a score of 6 might push out the chances of her taking home a medal. That puts her behind those on 4, which there's only 2 that have finished on just 4 so far. That brings us to Nico Ilario, another rider for Zone 10. Pegasus Lewis is the ride, and he rode to just 1 time fault in round 1 of team competition. And he's been very consistent, I think, giving a really technical ride over all of these courses so far. In fact, has kept very good composure and incredible riding the whole way through. I would not be surprised to see him jump another clear today.
Yeah, he's been extremely consistent, only carrying that 1 time fault. You know, that could come back to haunt him a little bit later. But first and foremost, he has to get the course in hand done. Worry about that after. They're starting to figure out that steady 5, figuring out that front rail needs a little bit of respect. Stretches for the 4. And that skinny today is not proving as big of an issue as it has in the days previous.
Yeah, every day the material has changed up slightly. We had that same material with a little bit of a bridge underneath it that had quite a few horses gave that an extra look and caused some issues on course. But now we have just poles on a skinny plank.
Yeah, and he's now, I think yesterday, the day previous, that was a beautiful, nice, clear round.
He's really excited about it, too. I think he's
got
very
a big cheering section.
Proud there. Yeah. Zone 10 brought a big contingent this year, so quite a few cheers from the crowd. Pretty excited himself as well, so
that's always fun to see. That skinny, Nick's played around again with that little white plank underneath. The entire rest of the poles are black, and now he's kind of moved the plank up to not the bottom anymore, but now the second bottom pole. So he is just playing around with the sight for the horse. Again, that's just kind of to distract the horse looking down instead of looking at that top rail.
So now we get into our horses and riders that sit on a completely clean sheet. We have 4 of them to come. The first of them, rider for Honduras, Lanier Perez and Diva Dean. They were our silver medalists last year, and I know he wants more than anything to come home with the gold. It's a very steady partner for him. They've been paired together for some time now. So it's definitely within reach. It is something they are very capable of for sure, but it all depends on how the rest of the riders shake out as well. So sometimes you can only do as much as you're capable of.
Yeah, and this horse, it has a unique way of going, a little bit of a unique style. It kind of hesitates ever so slightly off the ground, but is extremely careful. And just maybe not enough leg there. That horse is just always kind of holding off the fence, waiting for that little leg to be put on just as a confidence boost. But it's a very careful horse. It wants to do the job right. It wants to jump it clean. But if it just doesn't feel like it has enough encouragement, I guess it's just saying no today.
Well, that's very unfortunate for that rider, especially after such a good run coming into this. But again, kind of the beauty of someone like him, he's competed at this event before, he's medaled at this event before, and he's still just in the children's section. So he has many years to go. He has 3 more sections to jump through. So his run at the North American Youth Championships is not over. He'll have many chances to return.
Yeah, exactly. And it just proves, his consistency over those past 3 days, or these past 2.5 days, really. Clear. Just a little bit of a miscommunication. Maybe the horse was a little bit tired today, didn't have enough leg on to support that. Who knows, but, he's been jumping very clear, consistent, solid rounds.
Well, that brings us to Haley Guidry. She rides Esmeralda EHZ. And another rider on 0. She actually posted a very impressive time in the jump off for gold for the team day. But again, something to take into consideration is the fact that a lot of these horses did put in that extra round. They jumped a jump off there, and while it's only 6 or 7 additional jumps, that's an entirely extra round that a lot of these other horses may not have jumped.
Exactly. That's a fast round. That's over at least 6 or 7 obstacles. And she put in, I think it was one of the fastest clear rounds, I believe. So even with a day off, the horse could be thinking very forward now just because of the jump off, could be thinking turn and cut down on a fence. But again, it goes back to that partnership, putting that horse back together, keeping its brain and its body a little bit more relaxed, telling it that it's just, just another round of first round jumping, not a jump off today yet.
This is one that carries a good bit of natural foot speed regardless. You can see Haley setting a very definite track, though, making the horse really pay attention.
Fighting for that deeper distance into the 4. A lot of them are seeming to kind of get that slower, deeper distance, having to put in a little bit of an effort over that oxer and move up to the skinny. nicely through that triple.
It's another one to get the 5 there. A little far off it, but the horse did not have a problem with it. I think the horse kind of knew that she was on the same page.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, knowing your horse, maybe you want to go in thinking, all right, I'm going to fight with this horse too much to try and get the 6 done. I'm going to distract the horse from trying to jump the jump clear. So maybe in those circumstances, you just say, all right, well, it's easier just to leave that stride out. It's going to be a smoother ride for both of us.
She keeps her score on 0 there. Very fast clear round. So could prove her well if we do force a jump off here. We know she's a fast jump off rider, so she will give it everything she has if she has to go into a tiebreaker. But 2 riders remain in this first round. And then they'll all be invited to jump again before we know our final results.
Yeah, just like you said, you know, that's like her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th round, also with a clear round. So that is even more impressive. You know, she will again be jumping that extra round because of that jump off round for the team gold in the competition we saw 2 days ago. So some of those zone 4 riders will have jumped that extra round. Maybe it affects them, maybe it doesn't. Only time will tell.
That brings us to Riley True. She was the last one to go in that jump off for the gold medal. She rides My Way B and V. She also put in a very fast time, and I think it was a little faster than Haley's time. However, she did have a rail down, and ultimately her zone 2, was just a hair off the time anyway.
Yeah, I guess we should say that zone 2, obviously zone 2 jumped off as well, so take that into account as well, not just the gold medal team, also the silver.
But really impressive, clear performance so far by Riley.
Nice tight roll back to the Just World. That was a very, very light touch. So far, the 4AB has not been proving an issue. You know, he put those little yellow flowers underneath 4A. Some horses tend to look at that, look down, or spook at it. So far, not a problem.
Riley has already...
Oh, an unfortunate dismount. Again, you know, a lot of those horse and rider combinations are seeing that really deep distance into that brown oxer, which makes the 4 get quite long, and I just don't think she moved up enough. The horse decided to try and add an additional stride that she was not aware of. They had a separation of ways, but she is up, and we are just trying to catch the horse who is doing a victory lap.
Well, it goes to show how good these horses are feeling, at least. This horse is nowhere near the end of his tank, even after quite a bit of jumping.
Yeah, and this is a big ring, so they could take many a lap. Luckily, he's just finding his own little circle in the corner.
We had a loose horse try to take an exit right past the commentary booth the other day. He wanted to come in and analyze his round just a little bit, and was luckily able to be caught right after that.
Yeah, luckily a lot of them kind of go to that grass bank and decide that eating is better than running, so...
as we all can agree.
Yeah. Luckily he is caught, everybody is okay, and currently walking out the ring.
So it's very unfortunate for her, as she was up there at the top.
Yeah, it just goes to show, I mean, anything can happen, good or bad. You know, she was in serious contention. But again, you know, she can walk away knowing that she put in such consistent rounds. She helped her team to a silver medal, and that in itself is amazing. So.
Yeah, so much to be proud of there for that rider, and I'm sure on to incredible things in both the near and distant future. So that brings us to our final rider for round 1, Taylor Finkel. She rides Sheldon. She was part of that gold medal effort, and it was double clear rounds that helped to put zone 4 on top, combined with a clear round in the first individual qualifier. So she's sitting in an absolutely excellent position. She can jump clear. She would tie for the lead with Haley Guidry.
Yeah, she probably knows that as well. So again, a lot of pressure, trying to keep that mental focus. Nice, neat roll back. Hard rub at 3, but it stays up. Steady 5. Gets that done. Little deep to that same oxer. Gives a little kick for reassurance. Sits back for the skinny. Moves up for that 6, and now just has to think about just medium turn for that time allowed.
This horse is really good at covering up the distances.
Ups for that 5 again as well, and now she has to kind of reel it back in. That was a little bit long there. Nice vertical back, finishing with that last oxer and clear.
Oh, and well timed as well.
Just under the time.
But she gets it done. So that gives us a tie up there at the top. Haley Guidry and Taylor Finkel, teammates from Zone 4, they're tied on 0. Nico Lario in that potential bronze medal position with just 1 time fault. And then we have 2 riders tied on 4, Alexa Curry and Haley Honegger. And from there, there's a little bit of distance. 1 rail separates them from 6th place, Jordan Rich. So there's still quite a few riders in contention here, but we have another round of jumping. So the final round will determine those overall placings. And if there is a tie after round 2 of jumping here today, that will force a jump off, which could be very exciting. So I think it's going to be exciting regardless. We'll have to wait and see exactly how the second round shakes out.
Yeah, I believe it's now about a little bit of a break, maybe 20 minutes, maybe more. And we will now see a new course. And then following that, a jump off if necessary, if there's a tie for any of the podium positions. And like we've seen before, there's already been such a change up, especially in the, those top 5, 6, 7, 8 placings. So, again, anything can happen, just like what we've seen. You're now down to the final count of deciding who's going to take away those gold, silver, and bronze medals.
Well, we'll be back shortly with the second round of this children's individual final and see who stands atop the podium. It's surely going to be exciting no matter what happens. So be sure to join us. Take a little bit of a break to reset this course, and we will be back soon.
U.S. Equestrian. Thousands of equestrians have united
to watch, to learn,
to experience,
to compete. In the pursuit of fairness, safety, welfare, and joy.
From the grassroots to the Olympic Games.
Each with personal goals, but all united together for the joy of horse sports.
Ride united. Ride with US Equestrian.
Normal. Nice. You can roll with that. Or you can roll the dice. Be the brave and boldly go a different way. A different wave. It's the risk taken by the gamers, chasing the glimmers. We're the risk takers, the loud laughers, the grand Traverse Bay late night swimmers. It's about the destination. It's about the way. And at Turtle Creek Casino in Traverse City, life is a game, and this is how we play.
With NetJets, travel will always be personal. We do everything it takes to make every flight exceptional. Every single detail of your experience is personalized, just for you. As our standard is not just to meet our definition of perfection, it's to exceed yours.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for more than yourself. You help support sustainability in all our communities.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
What makes good footing? More importantly, what makes safe footing? Is it the dimensions, the foundation, or the irrigation? What if we told you good footing is not a single aspect, rather the entire process, from the design and intended use to which arena builder you choose? With GGT footing, it's not just the most trusted arena additive in the world, but the experience and knowledge to ensure your footing is safe.
FEI really takes a different approach to product development and to the materials that we use in our products. We're always looking outside to see what the sports world and medical worlds are doing, and we apply that to the equine athlete. We love horses, so that's just what really fuels us to do what we do.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
As a third-generation insurance agency owner, I don't underestimate the responsibility that we have in protecting our clients.
At Fitzpatrick Insurance, it's all about the relationships. The stronger the relationship we have with our clients, the better we can anticipate their needs.
As an independent insurance agency, we partner with top-rated carriers such as Auto Owners Insurance.
This allows us to craft a comprehensive solution tailored to each client.
If you're looking to go out, go up. To get up and go. Whatever you're looking for, you and anyone you bring with you will find it all and more at the Grand Traverse Resort and Spa. Get up and go.
Do something different, just to see what happens. Make a plan, but go where the night takes you. Leelanau is a place that feels like home. That is home, after all. And after the work is done, the lights are on, its doors are open. Possibilities, if you're open, to what happens next, to a game. Friends play here. Leelanau Sands Casino.
2023 will be the 14th running of the Silver Oak Jumper Tournament. A 501c3 charity, from its founding, our mission has always been twofold. First, to provide a jumper show format where horses and riders are celebrated with all the unique care imaginable. Second, our efforts have become inextricably intertwined with the Kevin Babington Foundation. If you think about it for a minute, it's so logical. If we are to promote and celebrate the sport's athletes at their peak, how could we be less invested in supporting those living their worst nightmares, recovering from spinal cord injuries and this, the world's most beautiful sport? Together with our partners, the Morrissey Management Group, and the spectacular venue that is in fact Traverse City, we will collectively aspire to serve both objectives. So mark your show calendars and join us September 6th through the 10th. And for those who can't make it, you can be treated to the live streams from the Traverse City website on Horse Show Live. In the meantime, to Kevin, Kim, David, Alexis, and Jonathan Miller, know we will continue to be there for you. Please visit us at kevinbabingtonfoundation.org.
first rider back in the ring now for the second round of individual competition here on this individual final day at the Gotham North FEI North American Youth Jumping Championships presented by USHJA for the children's and pre-junior division. We're seeing the final 13 riders vie for top honors here in the children's section. And the first of those is going to be Amelia Burnside with Casper Van Het Lilahoff. She came in on a very competitive score, an unfortunate little miscommunication at the triple combination, but back to redeem herself and try to improve upon that score, clock a clear round. But it's really tight up there at the top, just 2 on a double clear. So we'll see if we're going to be forced into jump off territory for determining these medals.
Yeah, that could be very exciting. The second course is a newer course. They just got out and walked. I think Nick starts off actually a little bit opposite of the first course. The first course was very flowy to start, thinking about that time allowed. Today's course starts right off the bat, straight into the corner for fence 1, and then a very, very quick turn back to fence number 2. And even 6 strides across that middle. And then a very blind turn, but very quick turn to 4AB, followed by an easy 6 strides down to number 5. She just rolled right back across through the middle, along 8 strides, and this is kind of where it starts to get a little bit longer. Your fences are a little bit more spread apart, and then also utilizing those corners. So all these fences are spread apart, but very much into those corners. And she's just rolling back on that final fence. Time allowed 63.
On a clear it is there, and it appears that the time allowed might be just a bit tight. That was a very forward round, especially coming from 8 to 9. She really picked up the pace, kind of galloped around those last few fences, and she was perfectly 2 seconds within the time allowed. So if you kind of hang around a bit, I could see it being easy to accumulate some time faults here on this course. Well, up next, Colin Sweetnam. He rode some beautiful clear rounds on team day with Cobalt. So back to try and add another clear in his first appearance here at the North American Youth Championships.
Yeah, and again, it starts off very intricate, all woven together, this course, and then it starts to kind of separate out, utilizing the long gallop straight into the corners, again, like a little bit opposite of that first course where we saw very short approaches off a short turn. Now we see you jumping into the very, very short corner. And the time allowed, I think will be a factor for sure, especially down once you get into the latter part of the course, spreading those fences apart. Neat roll back. Nice 6, and then this comes up very quick and very blind. We rode that well. It's a little bit of a shorter 6. And here's where they have to kind of think a little bit about that time allowed.
He's definitely not going all out, but I think very efficient everywhere. So time allowed hopefully should not be a problem here.
Yeah, the horse looked like it really wanted to cut left. I think that, is the kind of the trick of the jumping into these corners. These horses are really predicting the next turn and really having to hold that horse straight up and through that turn, and then turn right after the jump, but don't let them turn over top. Up to the last. Gets it done.
Second clear, and even faster that time. So time allowed probably is not going to be too much of a factor. You definitely have to keep it in the back of your mind, though. So this course is proving very jumpable. Be interesting to see how it continues to play out as we get into some of the riders that are sitting on ties and closer to the top of the leaderboard. Cecilia Chatterjee up next for Zone 2, Quintano Fortuna. And today didn't quite go her way. She came in on 12, added an additional 12. But trying to get that clear that she got in round 1 of competition back on a Wednesday, I believe.
And again, this is, for majority of riders, this is, I think, their 5th round. A lot of jumping. These horses are definitely a little tired. This is typically where you see maybe not so much of a technical course, so much as it is just tall. You know, you'll see the max height set for most of these fences.
It looks like this is actually Layla Murad coming back on 16 with Alphonsine Emancias. Likely won't be seeing Cecilia, or maybe just a small shift mix up in the order.
Really put a curve in that 6 nicely. Thinking a little bit about that time allowed, galloping to the next fence. Really galloping to the next fence. Gets down that 8. And here we now see a long gallop to that brown oxer that was kind of proving a little bit difficult headed the other direction. Obviously headed this direction, not so much of a factor. She's really leaning back hard to get the horse back. Jumps to a clear.
So 3 for 3 in this second round. I have a feeling some of those riders at the top, while they're probably still very nervous and still going to have to come out and ride, it's probably a bit of a sigh of relief to see that all of these horses are still out there jumping so well.
Yeah, you know, for sure they can definitely see that this is a very jumpable course. You know, at the same time, maybe they're feeling that additional pressure that everybody else is jumping clear, so that's even more pressure on them to also follow suit. You know, so it's going to be definitely a mental aspect to the sport, especially in this final competition.
Evan Werner in the ring now, sitting on 14 with Cece Contador, DWB.
Nicely through the 6 here. And continues down to the double. So far the double has not really seen a lot of issues. It does have a little bit of a spooky white gate underneath it, but the horses are handling it quite nicely.
She has an opportunity here today to go double clear. Should be an accomplishment in and of itself. To come out on the last day of competition can really show that you were able to live up to the pressure.
It's a hard rub at the Just World, but gets away with it. Another very long gallop down to this brown oxer and headed towards home. Just under the time allowed.
So we've yet to see a rail in this, or a time fault in the second round. All these riders really holding their own. That brings us to Zone 10's Lauren Padilla, Diadem de Revel VG. Just 1 rail and 2 on the clock in round 1, so we'll be wanting to fix both of those errors.
It's a nice canter to that first fence. Nice roll back to number 2. Moves up a little bit for the 6. Not a problem through the 1. Well, now she is thinking a little bit about that time allowed, you know, having those 2 time faults in the previous round. She does want to kind of hustle along a little bit where she can. A little bit of a rub on that Just World on the hind end.
Little check there before that vertical.
Looks like she has a nice pace in this round. Oh, and just takes the back rail of that last. He really narrowed up that oxer, that last fence. So, you know, maybe deceiving for some horses thinking it's possibly a vertical.
Oh, that's too bad. Held it together very well up until the final rail on course. Brings them to a total of 14. Isabella Smith up next with Quinca on 9 faults.
We'll wind up for that first fence. You know, it is going straight into the corner. It kind of invites horses to cut down on the back rail or shift left over top. So far, it's not really been proving much of an issue. Setting the horse up for that 6 strides. Wind picking up here a little bit.
Well, they're always keeping us on our toes here in Northern Michigan.
Cantering down to the Just World vertical, up and over that. She's keeping a nice pace, just has to kind of keep that just a little bit in the back of her head, as she did come in with 1 time fault in the last round as well as the rail. Or maybe she was the one with actually 5 time faults. But no time faults here.
Definitely improving upon her score there. So kept all the rails up and quite a bit faster. Keeps herself on 9.
And that slots into first place at the moment.
Jordan Rich and Gina Collada next to give it a shot. They've jumped 3 clear rounds in a row. They unfortunately had 2 rails down on day 1, but their consistency has really shown itself. The 2 rounds of team competition and the first round here today. So they could finish on just 8 if they are to clock another clear round here.
Yeah, and just to kind of prove, you know, maybe the first day didn't quite go your way, but just to keep putting in those consistent clear rounds, you know, consistency is key, as we always say in the sport. She's proven just that if she can hang on for this final round. Really balances to number 2. This horse is a very quick horse. So she's really focusing on kind of keeping it a little bit bouncy. Has a hard rub on 4A on the back rail, but keeps it up. Oh! Falls down now.
Oh my gosh. I heard something fall and I wasn't looking
fell
at the
at least 6
right
strides
fence.
later. That is the definition of a cheap rail.
Yeah. I think maybe the wind just hit it just right or something. That is unfortunate. So carrying on the 4.
Rubs that. Gets a hard rub, but it does stay up. Needs to think about the time maybe a little bit.
Gonna run a little close, so ever so slightly, half second into time as well. So the one very late rail, as well as the one for time. Total of 13 at the end of her run here at the North American Youth Championships.
That was a very late fall. That was so unfortunate.
So we're into our final 5. We have 2 sitting on 4 faults. We have 1 with a single time fault and 2 on a clear sheet. So first of those with just 1 rail. She picked up that rail in the second round of team competition. Alexa Curry and C Music. So she could very well be competitive here. She can keep herself to just the 1 rail. It would all depend on what those final riders do.
Got a bit of an angle on fence 1. That kind of looked like that is maybe her plan. Keeping it quick to number 2. Moving up in that 6 strides. Continuing in the 8. Has a light rub over A and B, but it stays up. Again, being a part of Zone 4, she did jump that additional round, so this horse is jumping a few more fences extra than some of the other horses in this field. getting it back now for this brown oxer.
Yeah, an interesting test that he's put there from 8 to 9. That's a very long distance, and it's headed home, so the horses might start getting a bit strong. They've all handled it well, though. And that's another clear there for Alexa Curry. Keeps herself on the 4, so that could get very interesting. She could see herself in either the bronze medal spot. She could see herself in a jump off for one of the medals. But only time will tell. We have 4 more rounds to determine exactly where these final riders are going to end up. Haley Honegger, the other rider on 4, was round 2 of the team competition that she picked up that 4 faults. And she's been jumping clear and very fast otherwise. So if Haley is to make it into a jump off, she will be one to watch. She's only 12 years old, but rides at a very high level. Very capable up there aboard Wild Child.
Yeah, we've seen her definitely as a quick rider. You know, one to watch for in that jump off. But in the meantime right now, she just needs to focus, I think, on keeping that horse a little bit together, a little bit packaged. She definitely uses a lot of voice on course, you know, really talking to her horse the entire time away. Really hustles over to this oxer. Definitely talking to her horse the way around, giving him her words of encouragement.
Ooh, big one there at 9, but I think we saw a few big ones in the first round too. This horse is very capable of covering up those distances. This will be a fast one if it's clear, which it is. And 54.43, probably the fastest time we've seen. Bit of celebration there on Haley's part. A lot of incredible jumping there, and she puts herself in a tie on 4 there with Alexa Curry. So we still do have 3 riders ahead of both of those riders. So if the final 3 riders do jump clear, that will determine our podium. However, if even one of them has a rail down, that gives us a jump off for those on the 4. That would give us a tie for one of the podium spots. So those riders anxiously awaiting to see what will happen. Nico Ilario and Pegasus Lewis continue on just the 1 time fault. That was in the first round of team competition.
Yeah, so Nico's in a bit of an interesting situation, sitting just on that 1 fault. You know, that 1 fault could either, if he holds to just that single time fault, you know, he could sneak in front of those 4 faulters. But, you know, if he does have that rail also, that puts him back to 5 faults. So beyond those possibilities of a 4 fault jump off.
There's a lot of pressure on him right now.
Oh, just has the just world behind.
You can see him kind of ride up to that. I think it was a bit of a gappy distance.
Yeah, it just looked like he kind of started to steady a little bit too early and realizing that leaving too much of a gap, had to ride up to that just world vertical.
So within the time, it is just a 4 to add, so they will finish on 5. And unfortunately, probably will take them out of contention for a medal. But I believe that does mean we will have our riders on 4 jump off. But still to be determined exactly which medals they're jumping off for, because there are 2 riders coming back sitting on 0 faults. If both of them can jump clear, they'll jump off for the gold, meaning that the 2 riders on 4 would jump off for the bronze. But if either of these riders has a rail, that could completely shake things up. So time will tell. Haley Guidry up next with Esmeralda. Not a single rail for them so far. Extremely consistent, impressive performance.
Yeah, talk about consistency here, especially, you know, incorporating that jump off that we don't see the score for on the sheets here. That's because those jump off faults do not count towards their individual finals. But, you know, she did jump a clear round there, so that also has to be taken into account. just in terms of the consistency for the horse and rider.
I think we've seen so far this is not a rider that is going to have trouble on the clock.
Opts for the 9. Figures that was probably the better choice to balance that horse because the Just World vertical has come down just a little bit. Really holds the horse back off that brown oxer and gallops to the last. Up and over.
There we go. So finishes on a completely clean slate there, including in jump-off action. And there's only one rider left to determine whether Haley will have to jump off for that gold medal or if she will earn it outright. Taylor Finkel, actually teammate of Haley's. They were on the gold medal winning team. So both of them chasing their second gold medal of the week.
And I think we, could possibly still see a jump off for, possibly the silver or bronze medal perhaps.
So Taylor and Sheldon, it's up to them now. They've also jumped completely clear.
Good, it's a light rub on that back rail of the first fence. A little bit deep. Oh, has the back rail down of 4A. Gets in a little bit deep, actually adds in a second stride for 2 strides for AB. Has to kick out.
So if she keeps it to just the 4, she'll be part of the silver medal jump off. Currently 2 riders tied on the 4. Actually 3, counting her. If she has one more down, unfortunately, out of contention for that medal there.
Just coming unraveled just a little bit, it seems like, from having to kind of ride hard out of that double.
Well, and I think a lot of factors at play there. There's a lot of pressure on her last to go, and she's riding for a gold medal. So that, in combination with both horse and rider, probably a little fatigued at this point.
Exactly, and having jumped so many clear rounds, I mean, down to the last day, the horse is tired, the rider's tired. It's mentally taxing, but she should be proud to take home that team gold and put in so many clears, to represent her team in her zone.
So there we have it. Haley Guidry earns the gold medal there with Esmeralda, the only rider to jump completely clear through technically all 5 rounds of competition. She also jumped clear in a jump off, so she's jumped 6 rounds clear, and she's not going to have to jump any further to prove her excellence here in these North American Youth Championships. So gold medal goes to that rider. However, there will be a jump off between Alexa Curry and Haley Honegger for that silver medal. Both of them are guaranteed a podium finish here. It's just which order they end up in. They'll be back for that jump off. We're going to give about a 10-minute break. We'll be back underway at
maybe around 11:06. We'll wait for the final word.
Yeah, we'll be back shortly, so don't go anywhere. It's not going to be long at all before we get back for that jump off. Well, here we go with the jump off for the silver medal. We have 2 riders coming forth that just posted 1 single rail over the 5 rounds of competition. We have Alexa Curry going first, and I believe that probably came down to combined times deciding the order at which they jump off, but I could be wrong about that. So Alexa going to gear up and try this jump off first and set the time to beat.
Yeah, so we start again over our original fence 1 in the second round, followed by fences 2 and 3 of that same round. Really tight back. Probably you'll still see the same 6, because then we're going to roll right back to what was fence 2 in the first round. Hard rub there, but gets away with it. Rolling, taking a left-hand turn back to 9AB of what was the original triple combination in the first round, and has A down. Long gallop to what was the second to last fence, backwards from that first round as well. So has 2 fences down.
Well, that's too bad. I do think that was a really well-ridden jump off. She was so fast from 1 to 2, then from the unicorn jump around to the red, white, and blue. So she really gave it all she had out there. Unfortunately, just 2 down. And I think we were discussing earlier that Alexa will, by the end of this, have jumped more rounds than anyone else in this competition.
Yeah, exactly. And have now jumped 2 jump offs. So 2 very fast rounds. And again, she knows, you know, this competitor here is very, very fast. She's definitely going to give it her all. So, you know, Haley putting in maximum effort. She had to do what she had to do, take a risk, because right now, I mean, it's all or nothing. So she definitely took risks, but she needed to.
Haley coming in with 2 rails in hand. And the nice part about this jump off is both of these riders are still guaranteed to be on the podium. So they're jumping off for silver. And if you come in second in this jump off, that just means you're in the bronze medal position. So I think still probably a lot to be happy with there, no matter which way the cards shake out. Looks like Haley's going to give herself a little extra space.
Yeah, she's probably thinking coming in, just put in a nice, easy, careful, clear round, hopefully. You know, it's probably unfortunate for her, or ironic for her, because she's probably been our fastest first time allowed rounder for probably almost every round. So she is no stranger to quickness. She loves going fast, but actually, in order to secure the silver, which she just did, she probably had to go slower than any other round.
Yeah, I think that's the most I've seen her really, you know, balance and set up the jumps, and they're giving her horse all the credit. That's a really impressive horse as well. But I think Haley gives that mare an excellent ride. So huge congratulations to Haley there. She takes the silver medal, and with 2 rails to spare. So Alexa Curry is still going to be on that podium. She's going to be in the bronze medal position, though. Look how much faster. Alexa was very fast there, so really gave it her all. Unfortunately, with the 2 rails down, that gave Haley the edge. And it's 2 Haleys on top, actually. Haley Guidry takes the gold medal with a very convincing lead there. The only rider to jump clear through all rounds of competition. Haley and Alexa tying on the 4, forcing them into a jump off. So there we have our podium. So huge congratulations to these children's for competing in their individual final. Just making it here to the North American Youth Championships is a huge accomplishment in and of itself. So for them to be standing atop the podium, they have a lot to be proud of. So we're going to award our riders with their medals. So stand by for the award ceremony. And not long from now at noon, we will be kicking off the pre-junior individual final. So we see the top 25 there, jump 1 round, invite the final 15 back for round B. So stay tuned. Going to be an exciting day here for the pre-juniors as well. But first off, huge congratulations to our podium for the children's individual final.
Welcoming back our top is 6 for the children's category and the North American Youth Jumping Championships this year. 6th award going to Isabella Smith of Medford, Oregon, with Kinka on a score of 9 through 5 individual rounds. 5th award going to Taylor Finkel of Delray Beach with Sheldon, finishing on a score of 8 through 5 individual rounds. And Nico Alario with a Pegasus Lewis in 4th on just the score of 5. On hand for our presentation, we have Tom Omar, president of U.S. Equestrian, as well as Sadir Mamatov, deputy chair of FEI Regional Group 3, to present to our children's category individual medalists. Top 3 dismounting and making their way to the podium for the next portion of our presentation here to our top riders in the children's category for 2023 at the North American Youth Jumping Championships. Bronze medalist up first on the podium. It's Alexa Curry with C Music Z, owned by GA Stables, Plantation, Florida. Through 5 individual rounds, Alexa Curry with just the 4 faults aboard a C Music Z, ultimately losing out in the jump-off round to determine silver and bronze. But picking up a medal here, podium placing bronze for Alexa Curry. Congratulations to Alexa, children's category bronze medalist for 2023. Silver medal going to Haley Honegger with Will DeHilda, owned by Alexia Honegger of Elizabeth, Colorado. Also in just the 4 through 5 individual rounds. And taking the win in the jump off to determine silver. Haley Guidry with the gold aboard Esmeralda EHZ, owned by the Honor Hill Farm, Poplarville, Mississippi. In the children's category this year, Haley, the only rider, fought free through 5 individual rounds, earning the gold for 2023. Congratulations to Haley Guidry with the win this year aboard Esmeralda EHZ, owned by the Honor Hill Farm, Poplarville, Mississippi. Again, the only rider fought free through 5 individual rounds. Yeah, congratulations again to our medalists, Alexa Curry taking the bronze with C Music Z, Haley Honegger the silver with Will DeHilda, Haley Guidry clear all week takes the gold with Esmeralda EHZ. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you all please rise and remove cover for the Star Spangled Banner in honor of gold medalist Haley Guidry. few more photos for our medalists. Again, we'd like to thank Tom Omar, president of U.S. Equestrian, and Sadir Mamatov, deputy chair of FEI Regional Group 3, for being on hand for our presentation to the top 3 riders in the children's category at this year's North American Youth Jumping Championships. Riders are going to remount for a lap of honor. Riders remounting and our top 6 to take off on a lap of honor. Congratulations to Isabella Smith, finishing 6th this year with Kinka. Congratulations to Taylor Finkel, 5th overall with Sheldon. 4th award going to Nico Alario with Pegasus Lewis. Bronze medalist Alexa Curry with C Music Z. Silver medalist Haley Honegger with Wilda Hilda, but it's our gold medalist Haley Guidry to lead us on the lap of honor. Fought free all week with Esmeralda EHZ. Round of applause for our top 6 in the children's category at the 2023 North American Youth Jumping Championships.
U.S. Equestrian. Thousands of equestrians have united
To watch,
To learn,
To experience,
to compete.
in the pursuit of fairness, safety, welfare, and joy.
From the grassroots to the Olympic Games,
Each with personal goals, but all united together for the joy of horse sports.
Ride united. Ride with US Equestrian.
Normal. Nice. You can roll with that. Or you can roll the dice. Be the brave and boldly go a different way. A different wave is the risk taken by the gamers, chasing the glimmers. We're the risk takers, the loud laughers, the grand Traverse Bay late night swimmers. It's about the destination, it's about the way. And at Turtle Creek Casino in Traverse City, life is a game, and this is how we play.
With NetJets, travel will always be personal. We do everything it takes to make every flight exceptional. Every single detail of your experience is personalized, just for you. As our standard is not just to meet our definition of perfection, it's to exceed yours.
Whenever you shop Meijer, you shop for more than yourself. You help support sustainability in all our communities.
Thank you.
Today, tomorrow, and for years to come.
What makes good footing? More importantly, what makes safe footing? Is it the dimensions, the foundation, or the irrigation? What if we told you good footing is not a single aspect, rather the entire process, from the design and intended use to which arena builder you choose? With GGT footing, it's not just the most trusted arena additive in the world, but the experience and knowledge to ensure your footing is safe.
FEI really takes a different approach to product development and to the materials that we use in our products. We're always looking outside to see what the sports world and medical worlds are doing, and we apply that to the equine athlete. We love horses, so that's just what really fuels us to do what we do.
We fly horses anywhere around the world, whether it is a hobby horse or it's an Olympic champion. It's about getting an animal from point A to point B safely, in best of health, and in the quickest possible of time. We understand the business better than anybody else. We do not leave any stone unturned, and we are staffed by horse people from every layer of the company. We give horses wings around the world, across the globe, or across the street.
As a third-generation insurance agency owner, I don't underestimate the responsibility that we have in protecting our clients.
At Fitzpatrick Insurance, it's all about the relationships. The stronger the relationship we have with our clients, the better we can anticipate their needs.
As an independent insurance agency, we partner with top-rated carriers such as Auto Owners Insurance.
This allows us to craft a comprehensive solution tailored to each client.
If you're looking to go out, go up, to get up and go. Whatever you're looking for, you and anyone